We're here live, Gibson Showroom, Orlando, Florida. I'm here with AbdeCaf. He just got back from playing Veld Festival in Canada. How was it, man?
It was pretty rad. Canada's really fun.
Yeah. All right. So I know you're not really a big fan of dubstep, but I know you said you wanted to check out some things while you were there, see if you could kind of enjoy it. Did you happen to see anything?
Bass Nectar was really good, actually. Like, I never thought that I would like, wub wub music, but his stuff was very post, he had a lot of post dubstep stuff as opposed to just straight ignorant wobbles, and it was really cool. The thing I didn't like about his set, though, was like there were moments of beautiful musicianship, and then it was punctuated by bouts of just long and ignorant wobbles, and I was like,
Yes.
Dude, you're very talented. Like, why would you let a 5-minute breakdown ruin, an otherwise really nicely put together song?
All right. Well, you started off by picking up a guitar to join a Blink 182 cover band. How'd you go from covering all the small things to being here and having songs like Faded and Loveless and playing electronic shows and things like that?
Well, I was 12, and it was actually a bass, not a guitar, but it was, I think it was just transitory. Like, I needed to pick up the bass to then pick up the guitar to then want to play keys and, really get into music, because up until then I didn't care about music too much. But, I'm glad that happened, because that got me started in all of this, and, now I'm here in the Gibson Orlando showroom with you guys, so. But, I think the transition was just the way I felt and the way I grew up over the years. Like, when I was 12, I was just like, yeah, fuck everything. Let's play, punk. And then as I got older, like, I started appreciating, like, real music. Like, I listened to a lot of jazz, and, like, I listened to a lot of post-rock, and I was like, man, Mogwai, Explosions in the Sky, like, that's it. So I started Fight Like Animals, and that's what really made me believe that I even had, like, the capability to do this for real, because, right off rip, 3 months into it, we got picked up by Gibson, and I was like, whoa, that's the greatest guitar company in the world, and they're, like, willing to, support me. It was crazy. Like, I ran around my room and screamed like a little girl for, like, hours, and here we are, I'm sitting here with, like, a nice Les Paul reissue, and I'm, like, drooling over it.
So you said when you were young it was kind of fuck the world, punk rock music. Do you have a first concert you're kind of embarrassed about, or maybe you liked it? What was your first concert?
Ozfest 2006. And I'm super proud, because that was like System of a Down's last show ever. And they were my favorite band, and they still kind of are a little bit. And, seeing them and just, it was so heartfelt. They were like, oh, we love you guys. It's not goodbye, it's just see you later. And, like, it was a moment. Everyone there cared. And it was all these big burly metalheads, and you could see them getting emotional, and it was cool.
Well, I know you're a huge Explosions in the Sky fan, but what else would we see if we look through your iPod?
It's crazy. It goes everywhere from Kanye to Mogwai to Slow Magic to, I'm trying to think, Flying Lotus, John Coltrane, B.B. King, Miles Davis. I love Miles Davis. You'll find some really ignorant pop music. I'll have some Katy Perry. I'll have, I'm trying to think specifically things that I'm ashamed of, but, nothing comes to mind. I have My Chemical Romance's second album. I'm ashamed of that, like, extremely. Extremely.
Okay.
They're just not good anymore, but they were. I have Skrillex on there, so, I may not like dubstep, but he makes some really good stuff. Same as Bass Nectar. Like, it's really good musicianship, and then there's the drop, and you're like, ah.
Kind of like With You Friends. It's just,
That song's awesome. I love that song. Like, there's no dubstep. It's just pure, really good, ignorant house. But, like, I say ignorant, but I don't mean that. It's just, like, the way I categorize certain things.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that specifically is really good, at least to me. Like, I like Madeon, I like Porter Robinson. But the minute that you hear whoop, 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 it's like, come on.
All right. I'm pretty sure you saw this question coming. I'm not going to go into details about it, but recently, maybe in the past 2 days, Twitter kind of exploded with some drama. I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but it seems like every time something great happens, like playing Veldfest or something, there's just these negative things that come out and they just attack. How do you keep that from getting to you personally and trying to stay away from it as opposed to letting it just...
Funny enough, I didn't even see that as, like, a real thing. It was just really just, are you talking to me? Like, I could have just not known you and been okay. No one asked you to email me and tell me that you deserve my slot more. No one... I could have not known you, and then I would have watched your set and shaken your hand, and we could have probably been friends. But he had to go and just be a complete, like, it was rude. I don't care anymore. I don't think about him, so I'm sure he's over there like, bah, AbdeCaf. David's laughing because he was there for the whole thing unfolding.
Well, I just thought it was funny because he actually never said anything himself. It was all his brother, well, his manager.
There's a whole string of messages where he's just like, I could teach you a thing or two. You know, I deserve that slot. I have fans. This is my hometown. I've been doing this for 12 years. And then when I called him out on the 12 years thing, he's like, well, he hasn't been putting it out for 12 years. I'm like, so you've just been producing and listening to yourself alone in your basement since 99. Like, he was awful before the first end of the world scare. You know, I'm not normally like that. I would never disparage anyone else's music, but he came at me so seriously, and then what bothered me was that he thought he was better, and it's like, it's not about that. No one's better. Everyone's just making music. Like, either go with it, and either you love it, or you stop doing it. And, you know, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a professional musician, you know, act that way. So I think he did all of the negative, you know, he portrayed himself in a negative light. Like, I didn't have to say anything. I was just like, dude, come on. You know, look at the facts. If you were so well known and you have such a huge fan base, maybe I'd be opening for you, or maybe you'd, you know, be somewhere other than. It's hard for me to say because I hate talking down to anything. Like, who am I? But it's just like, he came at me like that, and now the way I feel is like, well, if you really did deserve that spot, if you could teach me anything, you'd be the one that I was opening for, and you wouldn't be harassing me on Twitter, and you'd be more professional, you know? It was the most unprofessional thing I'd ever seen, and I'm normally pretty level-headed, so the fact that it caused me to go and be petty and put it on Twitter and just say a bunch of things, it made me feel bad. Like, I felt like an ass. I felt like I was madder at myself than at him, because he didn't know any better, clearly, but for me to go and then come back at him, it's like, I should know better.
Well, personally, I thought it was handled professionally at first until his manager came after you. So
I mean, even asking was unprofessional, at least in my opinion. Like, it's not something you ask. I was in a band for 3 years and we never did seriously anything, but I was happy for everything we did do. We came out here in 2009 to play Anti-Pop, and no one paid us. We played first of 5 at Will's Pub. Like, 5 people watched us, and that whole weekend was the greatest weekend of my life because we were here and we got to, you know, play and experience that and be a part of it as a band, and, you know, see all these other great bands for free, and I was just in awe. So when I even saw that, I tried to think of how he could even come up with the idea that you can go to someone and tell them, hey, I deserve what you've worked for because I've been doing it longer, and, you know, I believe I'm better, so it has to be a fact.